Welcome to Keith Duncan's Universal Show. We are indeed in an emergency mode now, and no one seems to care. I've worked my entire life for the benefit of others in Christian ministry, community, schools, churches, name it. I've been there everywhere except the political arena. America's in trouble. And so is the world in trouble, and yet no one is paying attention to the basic details and the common sense of taking care of family and communities, which, as I've been saying, in almost every one of these documentary YouTubes that are going viral. When they hit a couple of thousand or millions, people will finally understand that we're in dire straits. And of course, I keep looking for a dog-eared lawyer or a pet project. No, I'm looking for someone who's ethical and honest and actually has a level of accountability. Haven't found them yet in any government agency, any courtroom, any law office. Who else should I go to? I've been to every single law enforcement agency listed over and over again on FollowKeith. And the list of criminals continues to grow. It's not only 75 people specifically knowledgeable that I was kidnapped 4 times and did nothing but just ridicule me and go, oh, wait till you go to court, then you can plead your case. I go to court and they go, oh, you can't speak, only your lawyer can speak on your behalf. And they've been bribed, coerced, and threatened by Robert Rose and Bashama and by the other judges and lawyers who are part of the good old boy network that's really a criminal enterprise inside of almost every one of the counties that I've had the displeasure of being involved in. I've never walked into a courthouse before, never been in front of a judge before until I was divorced. Never had any charge against me in my entire life, literally. So how is it now almost approaching 1,000 days and not a single person has represented my best interests? Because indeed, what I have out there is worth not only trillions of dollars or quadrillions, I'll use the term godzillion. Today I'm hiking up the backside of Stone Mountain, so I'm halfway up, and I'm looking for my team to join the Reformation movement of all time called UNIocracy, which is not only the new governmental system for the world, it's also God's ordained and divine methodology to bring us all back into peace and harmony with each other. Reduce the conflict down to near zero. There'll always be some conflict because you'll always have psychopaths like Robert Rose and Amy Rose and Bashama and other people who attain high levels in our government and corporate worlds and also run criminal enterprises that no one has been able to detect. Well, that was called Solution Red Dot, and quite a few other websites I have that teach methodology on detecting criminal activity, putting a stop to it before it begins, which is prevention, and moving forward into harmony in God's world. Can't get any better than that. So now I'll continue hiking and continue to broadcast until the FBI and the Attorney General and law enforcement calls me, or I continue to call them, and of course I'll be contacting the press in a capital marketing campaign of all time. All they have to do is look at a single individual document, court order, email, voice recording, video, doesn't matter. Any single one proves the criminals have done this to me, and not my fault. I'm simply looking for a good woman and a great team to lead the Reformation movement of all time. That's NewZion2.com, which is the New Jerusalem, based in Atlanta, Georgia, or close by. Welcome to Keith Duncan's Universal Show. Indeed, we are in an emergency situation. Call and contact me now to find out how I can help you and myself fill up stadiums full of people that are hungry for justice and equality and a new life by redistributing the assets, by accessing our own assets held in the hands of the ruling elite and the criminally insanely criminally lawyers, judges, politicians, and underground criminal networks. Easy to do with the methodology I have provided and presented to you as the master teacher of all time. Come join my flock as I lead the world to unity and UNIocracy. Now we're at emergency call box number 2. Notice the guardrails. I can tell a good joke or two. One is that I've had to install handrails and guardrails behind me to line people up with a pick a number machine for the number of people who want to financially screw me. Pardon the implications, because that's exactly what has happened. Every single bit of my assets have been stolen with a forged power of attorney and by people going into my bank accounts, including my own family, the ex-wife, to clean me out so that when I finally was released, if I survived the last criminal proceedings that never should have occurred in the first place. Wow, the court documents are right there on FollowKeith. How many of my fellow citizens, taxpayer voters, brothers and sisters, elders, and even children are being falsely put into jail because of the profit-making industry? So here we are, halfway up the edge of Stone Mountain, talking about UNIocracy, getting close up and talking about vision, about what it takes to see eye to eye and understanding that conflict is okay when it's a win-win situation, and it's destructive when people take advantage of each other. It's always been that simple to understand that. And so behind me is the new Zion 2, or the area where we'll generate a new District of United America and invite 3 new countries, Cuba, Mexico, and Canada, and any other country that wishes to join us in a new governmental structure that reduces conflict around the world. And we start taking care of families and communities, which was God's original intention for the Garden of Eden. That is, until the Tower of Babel came along, which is what I properly term it. That's in the video on October 1st, 2011, 2 days before I was kidnapped in Las Vegas. That video is worth watching. The title was CEO from Outer Space, because CEO Space is still one of my primary organizations that is yet to respond to my simple request to cross-market God Himself, as I have been doing for most of my life. How much cleaner and broader can that possibly be? Contact me and find out what's really going on and the solutions I have already provided at world level. On the north face of Stone Mountain, these rocks look like they're supposed to slide over the edge. Well, they're being held by gravity and friction. And of course I'm behind the fence because I am the most compliant, ethical, and competent person anyone could possibly imagine. You'll notice some churches here in the background. There's one here, and there's also one over here in that area. We're full of churches in America, particularly in the Deep South, and yet very few of them are overseers of their communities and of their own government. And yet these government officials typically go to church, or at least they should, to interact with their people on a day-by-day and weekly basis so that they can figure out what the needs are of their community. Over in this area is the old Stone Mountain Airport, what I did a video earlier. I'm the founder of smrcf.com, which is a training center for adults and students and teenagers. One other ministry I have, God-Centered Ministries, which is what I'm all about. So now, as the storm clouds begin to gather, as we're looking back up the mountain here, help me prevent chaos from occurring throughout the world. It's always been that simple in how to contact me and put me into stadiums and in front of groups of people and churches, like the Zion Church in Marietta that I visited a month ago. Still haven't heard back from anyone yet, because it's absurd and extremely profitable what is occurring to me and to my world. It's all 100% positive. You haven't figured that out yet. It happens as soon as someone makes the call to the proper law enforcement agencies, finds me a federal judge and a prosecutor so we can allow this to, I guess the word is blow over, but it's much bigger than that. I know how to prevent crime as the top level anti-crime technologist and methodologist of all time. No exaggeration, no grandstanding. I'm standing on the rock of Jesus Christ, building foundations of methodologies and technologies that value and benefit everyone. Welcome to my Universal Show. My name is Keith Duncan from Atlanta, Georgia, born 1958, August the 15th in High Point, North Carolina. Currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia, undercover, of course, because a lot of people are very unhappy with their own crimes and don't want to be exposed, which is what this is really all about. Welcome to my Universal Show. I'm happy and looking for my team for the Reformation movement of all times. Now we're at emergency call box number 1, the top of Stone Mountain. Consider this a reverse countdown. It's all about justice, equality, and accountability. Used to come up to Stone Mountain all the time when I was first here in town, 1982. Had a huge antenna here. I would love to broadcast freely in front of any stadium, any courtroom, in front of Congress, even in front of the Supreme Court, to simply question them on what they are doing at a leadership level to our country. There's some good people in office. There's some accountable people and ethical people in politics and in corporate America, but not in these criminal enterprises that know how to take advantage of people. That's called survival of the smartest, particularly the data smartest. It's clear blue sky. I'm here broadcasting freely, and I'm ready for my people to take accountability and responsibility for themselves and to protect my assets and my life so that I can continue and complete my God-centered ministries, so I can truly say it is finished the day that God decides, the day that God decides to take me to heaven. Whether he be a guy or a female, he is my Godfather. And I look forward to meeting everyone at the gates of heaven, because I'll definitely be on the other side of heaven, petitioning Jesus Christ to let more of you in. Most people don't deserve it. Welcome to my reality world, Keith Duncan. I'm a living, breathing, mortal soul, teaching the benefits of following God's commandments. It's always quite simple. 1 Corinthians 13:13, make sure you add the word others, the ultimate charity, and focus on the rights and benefits of others. Welcome to Keith Duncan's BuiltByKeith.com, LLC, Universal Show. It's all about equity, equality, and justice. Here we are starting on a new journey. A journey of adventure, prosperity, unity, all about looking with a vision and following the course of what God has intended for us over these years. Do a little panoramic view now of Stone Mountain. Watching history go by, or would you rather participate in history? Oh, I do have a speech impediment. The main speech impediment I have is the confusion between the word liar and lawyer. I do stumble occasionally, but I commit no crimes. I take advantage of no one. I borrow no assets from anyone. I have no ill intent. This is the same as my godfather, Christ Jesus. As we finish up this series of what we're completing, because I hate doing things a second time. One of the reasons I developed computer systems for over 35 years. It's all about taking care of people at every level. Welcome to my show and my reality. Who supports me now and simply contacts proper law enforcement agencies and my Reformation team. You're always welcome to call me also, because here we have the blue car coming up. The red car just went down. Welcome to my universal shell as we go over the top of Stone Mountain. Here is an inverted Y, the original peace symbol. Just spoke with 3 young gentlemen from St. Petersburg, Florida, 20-year-olds, cabinet makers, who are on their way to Washington, D.C. So I gave them the Teen Money Machine cards and the Built by Keith card to cross-promote, because indeed, this is originally a broken cross, and I'm here all about washing the sin out of the world through the methodologies and techniques that I have been developing for most of my life. So now we're in the area of June 23rd, 2014 at 3:30, and the storm clouds are indeed moving in. So the question is, will we survive this storm that's approaching, that's all about predatory greed? Will we return to peace and harmony? Or will we remain in conflict until the world destroys itself? Contact me and I'll be able to describe this for all audiences on all stages of all time. Can't be any more broader or greater mission than to represent God to save his people.
All about the children. Americans came to liberate, not to conquer, to restore freedom and to end tyranny.